Real quick, real proud of the way the guys played last week to get us to this point. Feel really blessed to be in this game, really honored to be in it. Thank God every day to be able to be working again this week. So with that, I'll open it up.
What were some extraordinary sequences quarterback, particularly in the fourth quarter, at the end of the day? How do you develop that knack? How did you develop that knack? Knowing when to come after, when not to? Is it all down, distance, score, time of the game? Or
Yeah, probably a little bit of more of a feel than anything else. I mean, listen, I know the guys do enjoy that part of it, like they like to be aggressive. I mean, every DB and every linebacker will tell you that they want to blitz. You know, you can't do it every down. And, you know, there may have been some in there earlier, if I go back, that didn't quite work the way we wanted. Fortunately for us in that part of the game, the guys executed it exactly the way we had practiced it, and they ended up being positive plays for us.
when you call it a feel, can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, well, I mean, when I say feel, so the things that go into it is how have they protected prior to that, different looks we gave them before, how did they react? I'm always talking to the guys up top. And then, then I might have a little list of, okay, if we get in this situation, let's go with that. And I'm usually trying to give the guys a heads up on the sideline. I don't always get a chance to do that because sometimes I just pull something out of the sky, and not literally. But I'll try to say, hey, look, I'm thinking about next time if we get in this situation of running this. I think that helps them ahead of time. It doesn't always work that way, but we were fortunate in this past game to have that happen.
What is like the biggest difference regular season playing against Josh and then, facing
Yeah.
trouble in the regular season, but postseason?
Well, I don't know. We're not banking on that. I know one thing. When we went up there to play them this past year, it felt like a playoff game. I mean, I think both teams approached it that way. And we all know, we all talk about how the speed of the game goes up in these games. I mean, everybody's focus goes laser focus. And he is, I mean, he's a premier threat in this league. I mean, we all know that, right? Not just with his arm, but with his legs and how big he is. I mean, I'm amazed every time I put the tape on. I mean, I was shaking my head this morning talking to the guys going, how do you stop this guy? And I made one comment to one of the coaches. I said, now I know how other defenses feel that we play when they're going against Patrick, because they just do things that are uncanny and so talented.
When you look at Josh, there's not a lot of negative plays, not a lot of sacks, not a lot of
No.
difficulty in stopping the team. You have to be responsible.
Yeah, I mean, if you're not going to get those kind of plays to set things back, then to me, it's about not allowing the explosive plays. Like we had a couple of those last time we played them. And that kind of gets things going when you know it's going to be really tough to set them back. And listen, not coach speak, but it is going to come down to the situational football. We need to be better in third down. We need to win in red zone. We played good in red zone last week, and that made a big difference. And because they are going to move the football, we recognize that. I mean, they run the ball real well. They got an elite quarterback. So some of that, you're not going to stop everything. We're not going to shut somebody down. You need to slow them down and try to win those situational downs.
What are the defensive rules to just sort of maintain the soundness of the defense when the play breaks down and Josh Allen is just out there creating plays on it?
Yeah, I wish I had a secret to that. Listen, in the course of the game, the best thing that can happen for us is that all 11 function as 11. Because he's one of those guys, especially up front, if you're talking about the 4 or 5 guys that we bring, or they need to function as one, because he finds one little seam, and if we've got guys in man with their back turned, I mean, that's where I tell you, he's one of those guys, and you're all seen it, that he sees everything. I watched him this morning. A defensive play, I forget who they were playing, looked like they made him put their leg out to trip the running back, and he immediately was turning to the official like he saw everything. I mean, he's like Patrick, right? That their vision is uncanny, and so I think he can sense and feel when there's an opening there, and that's what gets really challenging.
Coach Spags, in Week 11, you didn't have. Sorry, go ahead. Okay. I didn't mean to interrupt you. You didn't have a minute who were Watson in Week 11. You have them back now. What do they?
Jalen. Yeah, well, he gives us, listen, the one thing about Jalen, and we're glad we got him, but I mean, when you're 3 months removed, it's kind of, we had him for 2 weeks, he practiced, and I told him going into the game, the speed of the game is going to be, so we kind of kind of slowed him in there. I don't know if you noticed, and so hopefully this week we get a little bit more out of him. But we've talked with all the DBs. We're going to need everybody. I mean, all hands on deck to try to win this football game. So all those guys will play.
Steve, Andy talked the other day about how priority was doing better on third down.
Yeah.
than he did against them last week.
Yeah.
What are the specific challenges of this opponent? Is it the skills of the quarterback?
Well, I mean, one thing that, really for them, you go 3rd and 2 to, you could bring it all the way up to 6. There's still a chance they run the football. That's tremendously challenging for a defense when you got a quarterback that can do that. We know that they'll go for it on 4th down in certain situations. So we'd like to get them in to the point that we'd like to get them in those longer 3rd downs, but that's easier said than done with this football team. So when they're in those manageable 3rd downs from their standpoint, it becomes challenging, really because of the quarterback, in my opinion.
So really, let's repeat Nate and Matt really quick.
Both Justin Reed and Nick Bolton pointed to eye candy yesterday. How much of an emphasis is that for you this week?
Yeah, from our standpoint, it's all about eye discipline. The eye candy is all the moving that they do. They're really good at it. I mean, you talk about, we're watching plays on tape and wondering how they practice it and get the timing down so well. But they've done a great job up there as coaches, and we just can't let our eyes get lost in all of, that's what Nick and Justin are talking about. So there's been a big emphasis on that this week.
Steve, what have you seen most from Charles Omenihu in terms of helping the rest of the unit improve, and how significant of a game is this?
Yeah, I mean, if we can get him into the past situations we're talking about. Now, Charles is in there on 1st and 2nd down as well, and I think he's playing the run really well, too, and we need that. I mean, we know what this team can do running the football. We talk a lot about the quarterback, but they've been running it really effective. But he gives us length, and he's a relentless pass rusher, and he's had, there's been at least 2 I can think of, where one of these days we'll come up with that ball when he knocks it out. But he's long and loves to rush the passer, so hopefully we can get in those situations to get him out there.
You obviously play a lot of nickel and formations, but it seems like there's been a lot more emphasis on the safeties with playing more Chamari, playing more Jaden.
Yeah.
What's been kind of the function of that? What do you like about that?
Well, both those guys you mentioned are real versatile. You put B. Cook, Justin Reed, Jaden in there, Chamari, and even C. Rowe, Chris Rowland Wallace. I mean, they're all really instinctive, natural football players. They can't all play at once. But, if you've been around, we've been around together for a while. I mean, we like the moving pieces and the different bodies. I think it makes it, or hopefully it does make it challenging for the quarterback when there's different jersey numbers out there. And as long as guys can go out there and produce and perform, we'll play as many as we can.